Hello and welcome to our second video in the multiplication practice game that we're making a Windows app for. So just to get ourselves organized, when we hit the reset button, we want to get two random numbers here and here between 1 and 12. Then we're going to enter a guess, and it's going to give us a hint if we're wrong. So if it was 6 times 6 and I put in 37, it's going to say too high. And we're going to use switch statements so that it can say at least two different things for too high and at least two different things for too low. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to move into our XAML, and we are going to go and find our private void reset click. So this is what the reset button is going to do. So to start off, we've got to set up a random generator. So random number generator, that's what I'm going to call it, equals new random, semicolon. Then we're going to put in a couple variables. So we're going to put in an integer called num01, and we're going to say number generator dot next, and it has to be between 1 and 13. And you can see right here there's a red line, so I've forgotten my parentheses. And then int num2 is equal to number generator dot next 1, 13. Then we're going to take these random numbers and we're going to convert them to a text. For them to show in XAML, it has to be a string, not a number. So we're going to say first num.text is equal to convert to string, and inside our brackets are going to be num1, semicolon, copy and paste that for second num. There we've got our private void reset all done. Now let's go to our check. So the check is where we're going to hit the check button. So we're going to hit this, and then it's going to examine using some if statements whether we are right on, too low, or too high. So back in our C#, we're going to say int num1 equals convert to int first num.text, and then we're going to say int num2 convert to int second num.text. And so here we're converting it back to an integer. Then we're going to establish int answer, and int answer is always going to be num1 times num2. And then our guess is going to be int guess, and it's going to be convert to int 32 third num.text, so that because we're going to put in a number here. And then we're going to set up a random response generator. So it's going to be called response generator, new random. This is what we're going to be using for our switch statements. So we're going to put in an if statement that says if the guess is less than the answer, and then we've got int response index equals response generator 1, 3, because we're going to only have two cases. So for too low. So if the guess is less than the answer, we're going to do int response equals response generator dot next 1, 3 bracket semicolon. And then we're going to put in a switch statement, and we're going to use the response index. So this is our number that's going to be either 1 or 2. Then we've got case 1, and it's going to hint.text because it's going to go into our hint that we set up in our XAML. And if I click here, you're going to see it has an X name of hint equals too low. So that's if a random generator come up with a 1. And if it came up with a 2, then our hint.text is going to be higher. Try again. And after each of these, we have to have a break. Then we're going to have an else if. So now our second choice is, well, what if our guess is too high? So if our guess is greater than our answer, we're going to do the exact same thing. Int response index 2 equals response generator dot next 1, 3. Then we've got another switch called response index 2, and we've got case 1 hint.text easy to just copy from here, and we've got a case 2, and then after each we have a break again. But this time I said too high or lower. Try again. So then we have our else, so what's left? It is if it's correct. So if we've got the right answer. So then we have int response index 3 equals response generator next dot next 1 to 3, and that's why we have for case 1 and case 2. And then we say perfect, hit the reset button to go again, or you got it, reset to go again. So now when I hit reset, it gives me 8 times 11, and I'm going to say 87. And I'm going to check. It says it's too low. And then I'm going to say 86. And I'm going to check. Too low again. Remember, that's random, so you could get it a couple times. 85, check. Too low. 65, check. Higher. So there I got my second answer. Then if I go 89 and check, lower, try again. 90, check, lower, try again. 90 again, check. And this time you got my second answer. And if I get 88, I will get one of the 2 answers. You got it. And then if I hit reset, it goes again. Now, the last thing I would like to talk about is what happens if I accidentally hit a letter. So I'm going to press S. And then I'm going to hit check. It crashes. So I'm going to hit stop. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a key down on that XAML section. So if we click on here, on the text box, third num, and again we go to our event handler, and I double click and key down, it creates a private void third num underscore key down. So it's got its own method for that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in some code so it won't accept letters. So here we've got an if statement, and it says the E key is less than Windows system .system virtual key .num0 or E.key greater than equal to system .virtual number 9. E handled equals true. So that means it's going to allow it if you're using the numbers 1 to 9 and number 0. I'm going to hit Control S. I'm going to play it. Right now I'm pressing the S, the D, and the F, and it won't allow it. But if I press a 1, it allows it. And then I can check. Now, if I try the number keys, and I press there, it's giving me nothing. So, unfortunately, this code has allowed the top number keys, but it has not allowed the number keys from the numpad. So a good challenge for you is try and figure out how to add to this list of keys that it will allow. And so after that, if you want another challenge, maybe instead of this hint, when you get to getting it correct, try and put in an animated GIF that has some sounds on it, or just some fireworks or something instead, placed right here. Thanks for watching.